What I'll do is you when you slow it down, just
We've seen back at 10 o'clock. I was like off the next day.
Please rise for the invocation by Reverend David Roberts. Or Councilman Danny C.
Thank you, Mayor. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful place we call home, Hickory, North Carolina. Be with us tonight as we make decisions upon the future of our population and our city. Be with us as we make these decisions on behalf of our citizens. Please remember all those out there who are in need. And let us find ways to help them. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Seaver. We reached an agreement about 11 years ago that he was the go-to invocation guy. And he's done a marvelous job on it about 50 times. I think now would be the appropriate time to make a motion that anyone who wants to speak about a specific agenda item can do so at this time. And I know a couple of people want to speak about a speed limit matter that's on the consent agenda. Am I not correct, Mr. Stearns?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion's carried. I'd say, well, we have three people asking to speak about agenda items. So let's first start with Mr. Moon. You were second on the list, but we have two people who want to talk about the other matter.
I actually want to speak at the end of the meeting, Mayor.
At the end of the meeting.
If that's okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
That's fine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
First, David and Martha Brandy. No, come to the podium. I'm sorry, please.
I would like to thank you, Mayor and City Council, for having us tonight and listening to us. We want to talk about an ongoing problem with speed on 14th Avenue and 14th Avenue Drive and 10th Street Boulevard. We live on 14th Avenue Drive in East West. It has been a long-standing problem. The speed limit, effectively, we're very, very much in favor of having 25-mile-an-hour traffic flow through our neighborhood. The signs, for the most part, have been up for about 15 years, and we were involved in that about 15 years ago after two accidents coming out of our driveway, numerous other accidents on the street. But we're very much in favor of making it official, which is what I gather is going to happen tonight. And then continuing to look at the issue to make sure that it is doing what we want it to do. Numerous walkers on our street, new baby on our street, lots of strollers on our street, dog walkers. It is not safe. The studies that were done recently showed huge volume and very, very fast traffic, far, far beyond 25 miles an hour for the average driver. So, thank you very much.
As usual, it's not much to add. First, I should maybe try to describe the situation a little bit. There's from 6th Street, there's a very long, about a third of a mile straightaway that goes into this bank turn. It sounds like Hickory Motor Speedway, and that's, I'm afraid, what's happening to that particular street. And this people will sometimes go into people's yards because they have gone around the curve too fast. We used to have a little yellow line that told people to stay on their side, but that, of course, didn't help very much. The other issue is that it came up as part of the discussion of Lowe's home store going in over there in Dumont, as there was concern about the traffic, amount of traffic that might be not going through Geithner, but using us as a cut through. And I was really astounded at the amount of traffic that we're getting now. So those are factors I hope will fit into your consideration. And I'm thinking it's probably going to require more than just a stop sign, or I mean, not a or speed limit sign, because they've been there for years, and the recording that has been done really was with those signs in place. So other traffic calming measures probably are going to be necessary. Thank you.
And Tanya and David Michael. Michael?
We also would like to thank the council for hearing us. We live in a wonderful neighborhood, and we're some of those walkers. Our daughters are one of the runners, our next door neighbor's a runner. And as Martha said, we have a lot of families in our neighborhood. As people are aging out of the neighborhood, new ones coming in, a lot more children in the neighborhood. We have 4 grandchildren that like to play in our yard, and it's not always the safest place to play, because we're on that stretch. They come around that curve, and we're the people that they run into the front yard. This was one year right after Christmas, and taking Christmas decorations down, and walked into the dining room, and there's a car sitting there in the front yard, and the person drove off. Well, luckily our next door neighbor got their license taken out, and the young man did come back to our house and did apologize. He wasn't hurt, the yard wasn't hurt, but we truly do have a concern. The speed limit has been 25 ever since we've lived in the neighborhood, but it seems like lately that there's just more speeders. We were home Friday night, and about 9:30, it sounded like someone was just gunning it. I mean, they flew down that road. And we were surprised. We knew they were going fast, but we were surprised when the study was done. You know, that it was something like 75 miles per hour. And that's what it sounds like. So we truly feel like it's an accident waiting to happen. We appreciate all you have done in the past with the 25 miles per hour. But we agree with the Brandons that something else needs to be done, because it definitely is getting worse. And we're adults. I know our grandchildren would be hard for them to out of the road. We're adults, and I think when they hit that curve, if we were out on the road, we wouldn't get out of the road if we didn't have time to. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you again. All that I will add to this is the city did a survey as to how fast people were going on. With that 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, the average speed limit was about 45 miles an hour, and it went up to 70 miles an hour. 70 miles an hour. Several went 70 miles an hour, and that 25-mile-an-hour zone. So the grandkids and I used to run, but with my knees, can't run. So I don't think we could get out of the way in time. And please consider this. This is a situation that if it's not curtailed soon, it could get someone who really get hurt. And thank you so much.
Thank you all. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on a specific agenda item? Okay, now's the time we always find enjoyable, when we get to hear from some of the people most committed to moving our city forward, people who work hard, some hired professionals and some just faithful volunteers. So we will start. We're going to do this in the order. Let me stay up here, Mr. Bird. We'll start with the Economic Development Corporation and Mr. Scott Malott.
Mr. Mayor, Council. I'm not used to getting to appear before you first. I know that's a little unusual agenda rotation, but I appreciate the opportunity. I also appreciate the opportunity to get to work with you all for another year. I was sitting here thinking about how long it's been, and I certainly have gotten the opportunity to ask you for funding for a number of years now, but the energy hasn't decreased any. The interest and the level of opportunity here is great. And what I'd like to do is overview some of the things that we're proposing to do in conjunction with other municipalities in the county and some specific to the city of Hickory, but in our plan of work for this coming year. You all got a specific proposal within your agenda packets, I believe, but we're working on several specific new initiatives that should transfer into new jobs and new investment over the coming years. Part of these are part of the Southern Growth Policy Board competitiveness study that's been going on for several months here, and you will see some of these get reinforced with the announcements as they come out, I think later on this month at the Chambers Board meeting on February 27th. One of the main priorities that we've had is to build speculative facilities here in Catawba County, and we've talked about the development of a public-private investment or investments in the development of a couple of manufacturing facilities to support the needs. One would be in the I-40 corridor, and one would be in the 321 or NC-16 corridor if we get to move those projects forward. You can take those corridors as wide as you like and involve whoever, but the opportunity is that to build new speculative facilities. Certainly one of the outcomes of the Southern Growth Policy study is to recognize and understand some of the innovation assets that we have been developing over many years. One of the outcomes was the understanding that we've been working on innovative new projects here in Catawba County for many years. Certainly different things when you look at the simulated hospital, when you look at the Manufacturing Solutions Center, when you look at the way we developed and supported the Hickory Metro Higher Education Center as an alternative to developing a public institution here in Catawba County. All of these things struck us when we cataloged them to realize that this community has really worked on a lot of innovative projects over the years. We just really haven't recognized that innovation is the common thread behind this, and what this community really does well is develop innovation. And so you'll see in the next few months certain plans come forward in the development of innovation for the support of a lot of different sectors, including entrepreneurs and small business entities and other entities here. Another would be to enhance the communications. One of the issues that we've found in recent months is that a lot of people don't understand economic development, how broadly it can reach, or how the process is done. So part of the coming year is to do what we entitled a program called ED 101, and to go out as many places, whether it's Rotary clubs or city council meetings or county commissioners, that sort of thing, to give that ED 101 program as many times as we possibly can during the coming year. Certainly we're going to continue with the development of the priorities that we've found fruitful so far and those that are going to bear more fruit. The data centers and the multi-jurisdictional park that you all participated in over the past year, the development of energy opportunities which have ended up creating probably more jobs in the city of Hickory than elsewhere in this area. When you look at Turbo Coating, TurboTech, Punker, Smart Electric, and forget who my fourth one is right now, but those energy-related supplier companies, and they're all related in manufacturing as well. We think that manufacturing, and advanced manufacturing specifically, is an opportunity that this community will have to take advantage of. Our heritage is in craftsmanship, our heritage is in quality, and our heritage is in manufacturing. Tying all those together into a specific advanced manufacturing initiative will continue to bear fruit. And I think that's going to be one of the advancements that you're going to see coming out of us in the next year. Our budget request is 0.24% higher than it was last year, which translates into $340 more, or $140,998. And I certainly would entertain any questions or try and answer anything that you have specific to economic development.
I don't have any questions, but I do have to comment that we want to keep young people in Hickory, and young people by and large are innovators, and innovation does take place with young people with older buildings, and I don't know, I didn't hear you mention that. Because we have a stock of older buildings in Hickory, and it's going to take creative minds, and I believe that young people have that creativity, so we need not forget that.
One of the outcomes, and I think part of the discussion right now is focusing the Southern Growth Policy Study, or the outcome of that, on 6 different iconic actions, and one of those will most specifically work on entrepreneurship and small business development. Another one will focus on existing buildings and renovation of those. And so that will come into play in several different categories within that, but you'll see in the next few months specific work plans that will address those, what I call iconic actions.
Thank you, Mr. Mark. The Salt Block Foundation, Mr. Mark Sinclair.
Mr. Mayor, our president, Marty Salmon, will be speaking for us.
Good choice.
I know.
I'm kidding, Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, Mr. Berry, Mr. Cohen. As you just heard, I'm Marty Salmon, and I'm the president of the Salt Block Foundation. Most of you know what the Salt Block means. SALT means sciences, arts, literature together. So we have encompassed the entire block with these avenues of education. Since 1986, when we renovated the old high school, we had 1 building, and we now have 3 major facilities that house 5 of our nonprofit associations. We have the Hickory Museum of Art, we have the Catawba Science Center, we have the Western Piedmont Symphony, we have the Hickory Choral Society, and we have the United Art Council. And amongst all this time, you have been a partner with us. You have come along with us to help maintain these facilities. We've had security guards, we've had ground maintenance. And as our buildings are aging, we needed roofing. And you were there as our partner. You helped as a partner, and it's been a phenomenal partnership for us. This past year, we renovated more roofs, and there you were with us. I can't say enough about the relationship that the city has had with the Salt Block Foundation, and we hope it will continue to support the more than 300,000 visitors we get annually to these facilities. We open our doors, which included all the Hickory school system, every year. And our doors are open, and the facilities are shining, and they're safe. And we want that to continue. And in this coming year, to move forward with our partnership, our next plan is to build a handicap access ramp that is needed between the planetarium and the West Classroom building. And that will be our new phase of handicap access. It has been a pleasure to be part of this team, and the team, you and us working together, has been a dynamic combination, and I hope it will continue for a long time. And once again, thank you so much for all of us, for everybody who ever steps foot on that property. Do you have any questions?
What's the total budget for the Salt Rock Foundation?
Pardon?
What's the total budget for the foundation?
I'm going to have to pass on that.
It's about $700,000, about $450 for the operating, and about $2.5 for the capital. So that's everything. So it has not gone up very much. It's been pretty stable at that level.
Any other questions? Thank you. Please come visit us, and please use the facility. Thank you.
Isn't it great to see the passion that people have for these efforts? And, when I travel, I see what seems to be almost unreasonable demands for public financing of places like this. And we get requests for $100,000 out of a $700,000 budget. So I don't have the authority to approve this request. Okay, the Women's Club, Sandy King.
Mayor Wright, members of the City Council, Mr. Berry, Mr. Crump. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to highlight one of the treasures of our city, and that is the Shuford House, located at the corner of 3rd Avenue and 6th Street Northwest. It's been 50 years since the A.A. Shuford family generously gave its home to the community and invited Hickory Senior Citizens, Inc., the Hickory Women's Club, and the Hickory Junior Women's Club to make it their clubhouse. During the ensuing years, with the help of the city, which owns the house at this time, the clubs cared for the historic house and overseeing the activities that take place there. Since the most recent update to the interior of the house took place in 1990, it is now past time to undertake another update and refurbishing of the house. Needless to say, after over 20 years, areas of the carpet are stained and worn, faded and outdated wallpaper, upholstery, and window treatments are apparent. Painting is needed throughout. Repairs to ceilings and walls are necessary, and kitchen counters and floors should be replaced. Although the two women's clubs currently pay $2,400 per year for its upkeep, rentals provide the substantial portion of the income necessary to maintain the interior of the home and provide for its utilities and other expenses. In order to continue to rent the house, it must remain attractive, comfortable, and functional. According to the Hickory Landmark Societies From Tavern to Town, the Shuford House is, quote, one of the most impressive houses in the city, unquote. It is a significant asset to our community. Over the last 2-year period, 44 events averaging approximately 100 people per event were held in the house. 20 weddings were held there in 2012, and 18 are scheduled for 2013 so far. And while the Shuford House is important to those of us who live in Hickory and use it as a base for our celebrations and our civic responsibilities, it also provides a destination and an opportunity to extend goodwill for visitors to our city. You may be interested to know that a substantial number of the weddings scheduled there are by people from out of town. Much of the money raised by our women's clubs goes to projects that improve the lives of those who need the help most, and rightly so. Thus, fundraising for the refurbishing of the house is limited, although we have held some events to fund this project and are planning others. Since we value our clubhouse's history and beauty and want it to remain an attractive, comfortable, and functional place in which our local citizens, as well as others, will want to hold their events, we respectfully request that you, the members of our City Council, consider assisting in this refurbishing project by providing city funds. The amount for which we have asked, which we believe will complete the project, is $75,000. We thank you for your consideration. And do you have questions?
Thank you, Mr. Grant. Downtown development. Connie Kincaid.
Mayor Wright, City Council, Mr. Berry, Mr. Crone. Good evening. I'm Connie Kincaid, and on behalf of the Board of Directors and the membership of Hickory Downtown Development Association, I'd like to thank you for our partnership. I'm trying to get it together. Thank you. Sorry about that. Our our mission statement was determined in 1995, and we became a North Carolina Main Street community in 2006. For the past 4 consecutive years, we've received accreditation from the National Main Street Center in Washington, D.C. When we first became a Main Street community, we hosted a community vision forum and invited the community to create a shared vision for the downtown over the next 5 years. The vision forum was facilitated by Rodney Swink, who was then the director of the North Carolina Main Street Center. Last year, we invited Mr. Swink back to Hickory for our second vision forum to revisit and revise and reaffirm the community's vision for downtown for another 5 years. What we found out was that the community still wants the same things. However, now they're a bit more detailed about what they want. Our board of directors develops an annual work program based on the community's vision for our downtown. So this year we sharpened our tools and established a 501c3 charitable nonprofit organization for the purpose of preserving Hickory's traditional downtown district. One of our first projects is submitting the Certified Local Government Grant for the preservation of the former Hickory Municipal Building. Thank you very much for approving that last month, which will then enable us to give a modest contribution to the capital campaign currently being conducted by the Hickory Community Theater to preserve a 90-year-old local and national landmark. Downtown was recognized statewide last year for several accomplishments. We were also recognized locally for several achievements. Downtown is very excited about the city's Inspiring Spaces program because so many inspiring spaces already exist in our downtown. So this year we refurbished our downtown directional signs to help promote the city's new brand, but more importantly, to help our motorists find their way to our inspiring spaces. Spaces like the City Commission sales on the square, the architectural sculpture that is now the home of the farmers market, and a permanent entertainment venue. And also where parking is now 3 hours before you get a ticket or have to move your car. In fiscal year 2012, downtown experienced the opening of 19 new businesses, with 9 businesses closing for a net gain of 10 new businesses, creating a net gain of 12 jobs. Public and private investment exceeded $1.1 million. Our special events and festivals brought a wide range of socioeconomic demographics to downtown. The cumulative economic impact of our events reached more than $7.2 million last year. Swinging Under the Stars, combined with the Memorial Day Veterans Celebration, has quickly become one of our more popular events for local residents. Last year, our organization managed a volunteer force that gave 3,010 hours to our community, which represents a contribution of more than $54,000. In April 20th, mark your calendars, we will host our 11th annual Hickory Hops. North Carolina Tourism has named April 2013 as North Carolina Beer Month, and Hickory Hops will be featured on the statewide beer trail since it's now ranked among the top 10 beer festivals in North Carolina. Promoting tourism with our state and our local partners will bring more people to downtown and more outside dollars into Hickory. When people look for places to go, they're looking for a place that takes them from their black and white everyday lives to a Technicolor adventure like Dorothy found over the rainbow. Downtown is Hickory's Technicolor destination. We strive to create an environment where people have a memorable, over-the-rainbow experience. And on behalf of the Board of Directors and membership of Hickory Downtown Development Association, we respectfully request an annual allocation of $50,000 for fiscal year 2013-2014. This amount is the same as in previous years. We value our partnership, and we appreciate your consideration. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Thank you very much.
That was certainly the most colorful presentation.
Thank you. Technicolor.
Chief Holler at the beginning.
That was our company.
I saw Chief Holler at the very beginning.
United Arts Council.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, Mr. Barry, Mr. Cole. I am not Jamie Tremblay, in case you're curious, who's our current president of the United Arts Council of Catawba County, but I'm very honored to be in this place tonight, serving this role, speaking to you about the Arts Council and the years we've been having and the year we expect to have coming up. We're also here to thank you for your past support of the Arts Council and the cultural organizations under its umbrella, to ask you to help continue your commitment to reach $1 per capita in arts funding. Thanks to your generosity all the way back to 1984, organizations that contribute to our quality of life and to economic development have been able to provide educational and arts programming to our citizens and the community around us. Before I continue, I do want to pass along a special thanks to the city's own Andrew Surratt, who filled in today, I believe, for Mr. Berry, with the Regional Arts Summit that was held today. It was a great event sponsored by Arts North Carolina, and it's really good fitting because a lot of the talk about that summit was about using the arts to make a community vibrant. You're going to hear that word a lot as I talk here about the idea of a vibrant community that we feel like we're able to provide. The strength of our cultural programming is a key part of the recruitment of new businesses and new professionals to our community. The vision of the Hickory City Council and contributing to the Arts Council has been vital in keeping arts, science, and history organizations and their programming at a very high quality level. We believe that the Active Arts Council, Hickory Museum of Art, Catawba Science Center, Planetarium and Aquarium there, the Hickory Community Theater, the Western Piedmont Symphony, Hickory Choral Society, Hickory Landmark Society, and the Hickory History Center help set our city apart from other communities our size. And as my volunteer role with the Business Development Committee, I can say firsthand, a lot of the businesses, as I'm sure Mr. Millar can attest to, see the arts community of this area as a real driving force to want to bring new businesses and organizations to our area. As you consider our request, please remember the economic impact of the arts. The Arts Council subgrants your fund and after matching them with state grassroots funds. We require organizations receiving grants to match them dollar for dollar. Therefore, every dollar you grant to us translates to a minimum of $4 spent in our community. And actually, the North Carolina Arts Council estimates the number as $24 spent locally for every dollar granted to the arts. I just love that number, thinking every dollar we put into the arts can actually translate to $24 put back into our local economy and area here. We believe this is a powerful benefit of the long-term relationship between the City of Hickory and the United Arts Council. With your support, cultural programming can be priced within the reach of our citizens, and many things can actually be offered free of charge. In this fiscal year alone, your dollars to help to fund, and this is just a partial list of some of the activities, the Lenore Ryan College Visiting Writer Series, the Beyond Horizons Astronomy Show for the Catawba Science Center, a holiday concert for children by the Hickory Choral Society, animal costumes at the Hickory Community Theater production of Dr. Doolittle, mentoring by the Contras Quartet for the Hickory Public Schools String Program, appearances by the Contras Quartet at senior citizen centers, the Western Piedmont Council of Government Silver Arts Festival, and a mural by Brandon Council at the Hickory Museum of Art. Again, that's just a partial list, and I can personally attest my family can probably be here thanking you, because I think they've attended at least half of these events just on their own, as I'm sure many of us in the room can say as well. In 2011-12, our project operating and individual grants totaled $241,138. We hope the total at the end of this year will be equally impressive. We believe this makes our city a more vibrant place to live, so tonight we're asking you to consider our request for $40,010, which is $1 per capita. Since 1984, we worked with you on cultural projects and on managing the Salt Block, which you heard of from earlier, where our wonderful city library is located. Together, we have become a model of local government and the Arts Council partnerships. We thank you not only for your monetary support, but also for your continued message that the quality of life has the highest priority for you. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. The best I can, since I'm Jamie Tremblay, but I'll do my best. Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Hickory Metro Convention and Visitors Bureau, B.B. Leach.
Mr. Mayor, City Council members, Mr. Berry, Mr. Crumbs. It's hard to believe another budget cycle is here, but here we are again. And I thank you for your ongoing support of our marketing efforts throughout the years. You'll be happy to know that we are continuing to work with your brand manager and communications director, Mandy Pitts, on promoting the Hickory area, and the partnership has already proven beneficial. Together, beginning in March, we will be placing a monthly feature on the Visit NC website in an effort to promote the Hickory area to a larger audience. And in case you don't know, the 1-800-VISIT-NC phone line is answered by the ladies in the Raleigh prison. And obviously the ones that are spending more time there are the ones that get the job. And it's a really premier job and they get paid $1 a day. But they are wonderful ladies to work with. And we go down at least once a year, make a presentation to them on what's going on in the Hickory area. We've developed relationships with some of these ladies because obviously they're here year after year. And it gives them an opportunity to know what's going on in the Hickory area. So we're very grateful that we have the opportunity to do that. Hickory will also be featured in the inaugural North Carolina Beer Month, as Connie mentioned earlier, and we're working on that together also with Mandy. We are working on a project for 2014 that will encourage visitors to engage in their senses of memorable hands-on experiences, and we're just in the initial stages of that, and we'll tell you more about that later. We've embraced the new logo and the brand identity of Life Well Crafted, and the Convention Visitors Bureau is branding itself as Visitors Well Crafted, and the Convention Center is branding itself as Meetings Well Crafted. Here's a brief Convention Center update. We had 139 events at the Convention Center this past year, which included state associations, corporate events, public and private shows, sporting and religious events, and a number of additional trade shows and business meetings. The hotel occupancy tax over the past year increased 5.86%, and event revenue increased 4.5%. The sports and religious market continues to be a target market for us, and our Director of Sales and Marketing, Tara Hicks, is spending a lot of times trying to develop those markets and bring more business to the Hickory area. Tourism generated an economic impact of $250,670,000 in the Hickory area this past year, which represents a 7.56% increase over the previous year. Catawba County ranked 16th in travel impact among North Carolina's 100 counties, and we have more than 2,100 jobs in the tourism industry. Also, state and local tax revenues from travel amounted to $18,330,000, which represents a tax savings to each Catawba County resident of approximately $119. So we're looking forward to hosting the North Carolina League of Municipalities this October, the second time they've been here. Our staff is working very closely with Mandy Pitts again on that effort, and she is host city chair. And we want to make sure that all the participants get to experience Hickory at its finest, which they will. Some of the other groups that we will be hosting this year are the Church of God Prophecy annual meeting, the North Carolina Directors of Social Services, and the Shriners will be here in November. Cart Mania, which is a new event for our area, is set for January of 2014, with more than 5,000 attendees expected. And we're really excited about the North Carolina Association of Educators. When I first took the job with the CV, that was the first sales call that I made in Raleigh. It's taken us 6 years to get them to commit, and they will be here in March of 2014 with over 800 attendees spending almost a week in Hickory. So we're very excited about that. We recently hosted the Woman-to-Woman Conference at the third year of the event. Billy Graham's daughter, Anne Graham Lotz, was the keynote speaker. We had over 2,200 people at the convention center. I know it's the largest event that we've ever had, but we actually fed a meal to that many people, and I'm grateful to say that the event went very well and there were no problems. So they will do that again next year. So there's so many good things going on in the greater Hickory area, and we appreciate your partnership in the marketing of that, and we look forward to many years to come. So
So our request for funding this year is $20,000, the same as it was last year. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
What's the total budget for the CBD?
Well, you know, we're now under one umbrella, so it's about 1.9 million. And I need to remind you that the majority of that is occupancy tax revenue and the event revenue generated by events. So
what's the debt service part of that budget? What is the payments of principal and interest on the debt?
a little over $600,000 a year.
$600,000, so
And we still have-
$1.3 million budget above that, and we're giving $20,000?
And we appreciate every penny of it. And we will have that debt paid in 2019, so we owe a little bit under $4 million on that debt, so. Thank you.
Thank you. 2019 will be here before we know it. Habitat for Humanity. Well, we're going to keep improving those water taps, aren't we? Just, that's a little flippant, but the truth of the matter is, Habitat provides affordable housing for people who most need it. We provide a modest assistance in the form of free water taps, about $2,500 per house, I guess. They're now up to over 130 houses, 130 families, probably 400 or more people that have been helped through this program, and we have provided the water taps. So I'd like to see that number. I would love to see that number at 25 or 30,000, because it would mean more families helped through this program.
You also have more people paying taxes to help our costs.
Well, I think they say now that our property taxes now are about $130,000 out of that program. And our budget this year is $7,800. See, that time flies and it turns around, doesn't it? It comes around. It comes around with this. Good point. Very good point. Women's Resource Center, Cindy Rose. Last but not least, Cindy Rose.
Save the best for last. Good evening to the council and to the mayor. This is my first appearance here, and I want to thank you for opening up for budget consideration other organizations. I think it's very important. Agencies such as Women's Resource Center give a lot of value back to the community and take a lot of stress off of other governmental type agencies. What made me think about approaching the city council for assistance is because of an expansion of a program at our center that I think goes along with the life well crafted. Quality of life looks different from where you sit. Over the 25 years that Women's Resource Center has operated in this area, we have worked with women who have been challenged, who need assistance, need a helping hand. A lot of times our casework was extremely short-term. What we did was warm and fuzzy, and it helped. We didn't have long-term statistics to show what the end result of our assistance to these women was. Labor Department statistics recently have been released that indicate that unemployment numbers are going down. I'm not so sure about this area, but in a lot of areas of the country they're going down. But women and minorities are still by far not getting as many jobs as men. And that is by far the most critical need that we see in the women who visit our center. It's unemployment and underemployment and all the things that go along with that. We are expanding our Women to Work program. We've done our homework. We're not going to try to recreate things that are already out there. There's resume building opportunities, interviewing skills workshop, opportunities to be re-educated. What we found is the biggest need is around the social capital piece. that is mentoring, success coaching, a curriculum based on soft skills, such as handling conflict, customer service. We are building collaborations on a model that we have seen through Western Piedmont Community College, where we are attracting companies from the healthcare field. We know we are a veteran community here, and we have a lot of seniors, and home health care is becoming a very large thing, and it's kind of a fast track for employment. So we are pulling together a group of home health agencies, letting them help us develop a curriculum that goes along with the educational curriculum that you can get at the local community colleges, so that we can get women back to work. We've employed a success coach to work with them, and we are going to pair each woman with a mentor. What we have found is once the woman goes through the normal steps looking for employment, she's done a resume building, she's sent out hundreds of interviews, applications, she has enhanced her interview skills. Once she's jumped through all the hoops and she still is not able to get a job, then things like depression set in. They need additional support. And that's where the social capital piece comes in. It takes money to do that. We would love to have the partnership of the city to put the Life Well Crafted stamp on this program as a partner. I think it makes sense. 90% of the women that we work with are from the Catawba County area. While we will serve women for other counties, from other counties. 90% of our women are from here. And most of you know we're a block away. We're in walking distance of the soup kitchen and other facilities. So our request is for $5,000, and that's to help us to provide the services that indicated. Each of you got a copy of this. But it's to help underwrite our mentor program, help us with transportation. That is one thing I can also bring up. We need to work with the bus lines. I don't think I need to say a whole lot more there. I think there's some things that could use improvement there. The transportation is an issue. We're asking for your help. I'm kind of the odd man out here tonight. Odd man. How's that?
I don't understand. What do you mean?
Well, my group, this is my first time appearing before you, and I would open up to ask if you have any questions about how we intend to make this work. Our total budget's $116,500. We're asking for $5,000.
I have a question. The county, what is requested from Catawba County?
I have not requested anything.
Are you planning, is it part of the?
I didn't know there would be anything available for this.
Okay, at the county.
Can you give me some information?
Well, I don't know.
I'll go after money.
Well, I mean, I think the point being, since you're serving women from all over the county, it certainly would be.
But the majority of them, transportation is an issue, and the majority of them are here in this local area. And that just makes sense simply from logistics. But I would appreciate you to put Reggie. How about you, Mr. Wright? Do you have any questions?
Call Brad in the morning. I'm going to ask Mr. Lael to handle that for all the kids.
Well, you know, I just think it would be a good thing for the city to put their brand on it. And I think it says that you are looking out for the quality of life for all people in the community. And I appreciate your time and stop by for the tour. I look forward to hearing from all of you.
Thank you, Mrs. Rhodes. If you get an opportunity to go visit the Women's Resource Center, you're going to be very impressed with the caring and the commitment and the atmosphere there. Business Well Crafted presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll ask Ms. Ryan Lover, a member of the Business Development Committee, to come forward and make that presentation.
Mayor Wright, members of the council, Mr. Berry, Mr. Crone. I'm not asking for any money. I've got a fun thing to celebrate here. As a volunteer on the Business Development Committee on behalf of the City of Hickory, we have spent a lot of time talking about how we put a lot of effort into bringing new business here. And with that, we found we sometimes lack in honoring people that have stayed and that have been the foundation of what Hickory is. And with that, the Business Well Crafted Award was born, I guess I should say. This is the second one we'll give. And I'd like to ask for Mr. Dolan Huffman to come up, as well as Lanny Huffman, please. I want you to stand beside me before I start talking about you. These guys run Hickory Sheet Metal, second and third generation. They've been here since 1928. And I'm sure many of you know them from working on your house, but they've also done large commercial projects here, namely Fry, Pepsi, the Billy Graham Training Center, CommScope. They together have 100 years worth of experience with them, and they call Hickory home, and I just want to give them a big round of applause for everything they do.
Ryan, thank you for this, and thank you, Mayor Wright and the members of the City Council. Honestly, this is amazing recognition, and we certainly appreciate it, and we certainly appreciate the atmosphere of business that you give to small business. It is a wonderful place to do business, and we also thank the citizens of Hickory, Catawba Valley, of Western North Carolina, and upstate South Carolina for their patronage, and we certainly thank our employees, which is our biggest and most valuable asset, because past and present, because they have done an excellent job in bringing us here for 85 years, and it's their quality work that did it. So we thank you for this recognition.
Thank you.
Mr. Huffman, we got to get your picture. Both of y'all.
Come on, council.
I am standing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know that. We never knew what happened.
Lanny also was very instrumental in helping lead Kiwanis Club in its efforts for the Zara Playground, and that was my first opportunity to work with Lanny, and certainly enjoyed getting to know you. And I know the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and we appreciate your mom and dad very much too. Thank you.
And I can say I've worked with both father and son, that is a pleasure.
I'm going to milk a little appreciation you were expressing. Do y'all get a lot of permits and all in the business you do?
A few, yes. Every once in a while we have to get some permits.
And you did say, I believe, what a great place this is to do business in?
It is.
Excuse me, I just wanted to make sure I heard. Okay. We have a motion to approve the minutes of February the 5th. Motion by Mr. Guest, second by Mr. Seaver. All in favor say aye. It's unanimous. All members are present. Motion to reaffirm and ratify on second reading. Motion by Ms. Patton, second by Ms. Fox. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That's unanimous. Consent agenda, anything to be removed?
Item A, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Item A, we've had two people speak on that, so we're going to get some more information.
Well, no, I've got a request of staff.
Oh, is this the same one?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Saying move approval of consent agenda except with the exception of item A.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lael, second by Mrs. Patton. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That's unanimous.
what I would ask and move the council request staff to, and I think this is typical for any speed limit reduction, that we increase enforcement in that area for a certain period of time to have training around it. And it sounds like that particular area might need to be, traffic division may need to pay some special attention to it over the long term as well.
They have been paying some attention to it because there have been many people that got to it.
Okay, good. Good.
Yes.
Why, are you one of them?
I turned before I did.
It's the only thing that saved you.
Well, good. Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that's going on. So I'd move approval item A.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lael, second by Ms. Patton. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Informational items.
Two informational items to report to council, and that's Mayor Wright's attendance at the North Carolina League of Municipalities Advocacy Goal Conference, which is in Raleigh on January 23rd and 24th. And Mayor Wright's attendance at the League of Municipalities Board meeting on Emerald Island, North Carolina, November 15th and 16th, 2012.
Public hearings.
Mr. Mayor, moving on to new business, a number of public hearings this evening. The first one is voluntary contiguous annexation. I'll ask the city's planning director, Brian Fraser, to come to the podium and present that item.
Mayor Wright, members of council, Mr. Barry, Mr. Crone, good evening. Mr. Barry said there's a number of public hearings. The first one we'll talk about is the voluntary annexation of street right-of-way of 13th Avenue Drive Southeast and 21st Street Lane Southeast. Thank you. City submitted a petition. Again, it's a city generator. The city submitted a petition for contiguous voluntary annexation of 2.8 acres of street right-of-way where I mentioned the city particularly wishes to annex the rights of way in order to provide public maintenance. While those streets have been open for traffic for some months, they have not yet been annexed for maintenance purposes. And you can see the area. You can see the area right here outlined. I mean, this property is right off of McDonald Parkway and Highway 7 between McDonald Parkway, I-40, Highway 70 Southeast, directly behind Petco, Ross Dress for Less, and Ashley Furniture. I think many of you have been on it already. You can see by this map here the annexation area proposed, hashed in the red. The purple up at the top right is industrial zoning, and the vast majority of the zoning is C3, as indicated. And here's the aerial ortho. Again, this aerial was taken in the year 2010. The roadway, as you know, has since been constructed. Basically, the properties within the city's E2J and surrounded by a number of commercially zoned properties, as I pointed out. Staff finds the petition to be in conformity with our applicable statutes for annexation and recommends the property be annexed by City Council this evening. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Frazier. We will begin our first public hearing. I'll remind you of the procedure. We first ask the people speaking against the proposal to offer their opinions, and then the people speaking for. We ask that the comments against and for be kept to 15 minutes, and we call time at 3, 6, 9, and 12, although there is no way that we divide up the time. So if one person gets 15 minutes, we really don't have any control over how many people are going to speak. We do tell folks, and we mean this, that everyone will have a chance to have their say. With that, we ask for no cheering, no jeering, no display of displeasure or pleasure with the speaker's comments. With that, we'll declare the public hearing open and ask if there's anyone present who would like to speak against this proposal. Is there anyone who would like to speak for this proposal? There being no one desiring to speak, I declare the public hearing closed and ask for motion or discussion. Motion by Mrs. Patton, second by Mr. Seaver. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That's unanimous.
Okay, I have before you public hearing for consideration of zoning petition 1301. The city, again, this is submitted by the city to generate a request to rezone property located at 330 21st Street Southeast. This request is to rezone property from high density residential R4 to general business C2. Here you can see the rezoning petition 1301 with the surrounding future land uses. You can see the property right here outlined in the dark red. This is the aerial ortho of the property. And again, this is the zoning of the property. The purple is the IND, the industrial area. R4 is the burnt orange, and the red is C2, commercial. Basically, this particular rezoning is again being requested by the city network to correct a mapping error which occurred in 2011 of over 18,000 parcels in the city of Hickory. 2 years later, we finally discovered that we made about 7 or 8 mistakes. I'm hoping we don't find more, but in all honesty, we found these and we need to bring these to your attention as soon as possible. In 2011, the property that I mentioned in the red was incorrectly assigned to residential classification rather than a commercial zoning classification. The property is currently occupied by Klein Associates, a local commercial business that was constructed back in 1990. The request of rezoning is being put forward to council in an effort to correct the identified mapping area and provide the property with the appropriate commercial zoning classification. The rezoning of this property will rectify these matters. And back on January 23rd, the Planning Commission unanimously voted to forward a recommendation of approval for the rezoning of this mapping correction to the Hickory City Council. Staff board concurs with the Planning Commission's findings and recommends that the property be rezoned by City Council this evening. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Frazier. I declare the public hearing to be open and ask if there's anyone who would like to speak against this proposal. Is there anyone who would like to speak for this proposal? There being no one desiring to speak, I declare the public hearing closed and ask for motion or discussion. Motion by Mr. Seaver, second by Mr. Patton. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That's unanimous. Mr. Frazier, you getting the work out.
Okay, the next one here is rezoning petition, again initiated by the City of Hickory, petition 13-02. The city requested a rezoning of property located at 526 17th Street Northwest. The request is to rezone this piece of property from industrial to high-density residential R4. You can see on this map again, this is future land use. Property we're talking about right there. Again, this is the property of the aerial ortho from a couple of years back. And this is the property here again. So you can see Highway 321 northwest. The property in purple is the IND, the red is the C2, and the and orange is R4. This particular rezoning is being requested now to again correct the mapping error which occurred about 2 years ago back in 2011. The property is currently occupied by one single-family residence, and the request of rezoning is being put forth to correct the mapping errors that I just mentioned back to the appropriate residential zoning classification. A public hearing was held by the City's Planning Commission back on the 23rd of January of this year, and they adopted a statement concerning the consistencies of rezoning of Hickory by Choice 2030, and again unanimously voted to forward a recommendation of approval to the Hickory City Council, and staff concurs with the findings and recommendations of the HRPC. Any questions on this item?
I declare the public hearing open and ask if there's anyone who would like to speak against this proposal. Is there anyone who would like to speak for this proposal? There being no one desiring to speak, I declare the public hearing closed and ask for motion or discussion.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Fox, second by Mr. Lael. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That's unanimous.
Only about 20 more. This is rezoning petition 1303. I see the parcel in question here. Hickory future land use over here on 14th Avenue Northeast. I'll give you better directions in a second. Again, the city initiated this rezoning for properties located at 1425 3rd Street Place Northeast, adjacent vacant lot, and 339-345 14th Avenue Northeast. And the request is to rezone the property from high-density residential R4 to office institutional, which is OI. This particular rezoning, again, is being requested to correct a mapping error which occurred back in 2011. Prior to 2011, the property was zoned office institutional. The property was zoned O&I back in 2003 at the request of the property owner. That was rezoned petition 03-11. And in 2011, when the new zoning maps were adopted through Hickory by Choice, the property was incorrectly assigned a residential zoning classification. Again, which inadvertently reversed the zoning petition approved 8 years earlier. Here is the property in question along 14th Avenue Northeast. This is Hickory High School. You can see the track football field, residential neighborhood to the north and east. This is Lowe's Home Improvement, and you can see this map's a little bit out of date, this area, because this is the new Lowe's food store that was just barely under construction at the time, which now is fully operational. Maybe 3 years this August. And again, this is the property in question. You can see the NC, the commercial, the OI office institutional, the R3, and the higher density R4. These properties here. Again, back in January, the Planning Commission adopted a statement concerning the zoning consistency with HPC 2030, and unanimously voted a recommendation of approval to the City Council, and staff concurs with the Planning Commission's comments and findings. Any questions from the Council?
Thank you. I declare the public hearing open and ask if there's anyone who would like to speak against this proposal. Is there anyone who would like to speak for this proposal? There being no one desiring to speak, I declare the public hearing closed and ask for motion and discussion. Motion by Mr. Seaver, second by Mrs. Patton. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That is unanimous.
Next I'll discuss is rezone petition 1304. Again, the property in question in red. This is Tate Boulevard, Donald Parkway. The city is requesting the rezone of this property located at 2206 Tate Boulevard Southeast. The request is to rezone the property from high density residential R4 to industrial IND. You can see the aerial of the property property in question, McDonald Parkway, South Tate Boulevard, east to west. This particular rezoning is being requested in effort to correct another mapping error occurred a couple of years ago. Prior to 2011, the property had been zoned industrial. When the maps were adopted again, we made a mistake in assigning an industrial classification rather than a residential classification. The requested rezoning is staff initiated. It's being put forth in an effort to correct the mapping error. Return the property to its previous and correct industrial zone classification. You see the surrounding, see the property again in question, Tate, McDonald, R4, the O91, C2, and the rest of the property you can see is well, the majority is IMD, industrial. And back in January, again, the Planning Commission held its hearing and unanimously voted to forward a recommendation approval to City Council this evening. Staff concurs with the findings and recommendations of the Planning Commission. Any questions? We'll try to do better the next time we do everything.
We might have people talking here a little later. I declare the public hearing open. Is there anyone who would like to speak against this proposal? Is there anyone who would like to speak for this proposal? I declare the public hearing closed and ask for motion or discussion. Motion by Mr. Reisner, second by Mrs. Fox. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. That's unanimous.
Next matter on the agenda is Sealands rezoning petition 1305. See the property in question. Properties in question. This is Quantum Mill Road Northeast, Cool Park Road, Sandy Ridge. City of Hickory, again, staff initiated request. The property is located at 3661 16th Street Northeast and 3703 16th Street Northeast be rezoned from neighborhood commercial to medium density residential. The property located at 1515 Clyde Mill Road Northeast to be zoning from neighborhood commercial to low density residential R1. Again, rezoning properties to medium density residential R2 and low density residential R1 is consistent with both low and medium density residential future land use classification of Hickory by choice. In this particular rezoning, again, is being requested to this evening to correct the mapping error from 2 years ago. The requested rezoning will correct the identified mapping error and alleviate any potential negative impacts the incorrect zone classification we have on their residents. So we have talked to the homeowners here, and they fully agree and support this. And we discussed this matter with them. Again, this is the future land use. This is the area ortho of the properties in question. 1, 2, 3. Again, Sandy Ridge, Cool Park, London Mill Road.
Jasonville shopping center side of one.
Yes, and it's directly across the street from Sandy Ridge Baptist Church. I think these folks had intended that this was going to develop really quickly when the economy was better a few short years ago, and that hasn't panned out. So the ladies that have spoken to the property owners and the other owners of the north are certainly for this. And back in January, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval to council, and again, staff concurs with their findings and recommendations to do this evening. I'd be happy to answer any questions on this one.
Was this to correct an error? I'm afraid I didn't.
Yeah, there was, well, this one's sort of a combo. It was to correct the mapping error, and when we found out about it, the county tax department had already talked to the property owners in here, and they asked that it basically go back to what it had been, which is perfectly fine with us as well as the Planning Commission. The market just isn't what it was, and property owners just want to basically leave it alone for now.
I declare the public hearing to be open. Is there anyone who would like to speak against this proposal? speak for the proposal? I declare the public hearing closed and ask for motion or discussion.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Fox, second by Mrs. Patton. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion is carried. Now,
The next item I have before council this evening is rezoning petition 13-06. Again, this is city initiated. The city requests the property located as the northeast corner of the intersection of Cloninger and Mill Road and North Center Street, otherwise known as NC 127, be rezoned from neighborhood commercial and medium density residential R2 to neighborhood commercial. The subject property, I think you're all pretty familiar with it, is currently zoned both neighborhood commercial and medium density residential. And the request is to, again, zone the property neighborhood commercial in its entirety. You can tell here through the map, you see the stem of the lake here, North Center Street, NC 127, of course this is north. Here you've got Cloninger Mill Road, northeast. Okay, this was the property we just discussed. This is part of the future Cloninger Mill Park that's been planned over the past several years. Of course, council is very familiar. And this is the 10-acre piece that we're discussing tonight, outlined in red. This is the aerial ortho of the property in question again, 127 Cloninger Mill Road. You can see the cove in here off Lake Hickory and the future park property. Hickory by Choice 2030 classified in the vicinity as neighborhood mixed use park. During the planning process of Hickory by Choice 2030, and later the city council decision was made to zone approximately 10 acres of what is known as the Cloninger Mill Park property commercial. The presence of the commercial zoning and future development thereof was intended to provide amenities to the larger park property in subsequent years. The existence of the commercial area is considered to be consistent with Hickory by Choice 2030. And you can see the zoning in the area, property in question, the NC, surrounding R1, to the planned development area here. Lake is in blue, the river, and you can see R2 lower residential density uses there. When the city's current zoning maps were being drawn during the process back in the agency LDC process back in 2010 and 2011, the commercial area, again, roughly 10 acres in size, was added to the map as it currently exists. This was done utilizing GIS mapping and not an actual field survey. The city surveyor, John Furmich, and his staff later surveyed off the 10-acre tract, which it was and is an intended commercial property. After finalizing the survey and comparing it to the adopted zoning map, staff discovered there was a slight overlap, as you can see, in the zoning district boundaries. So the request for rezoning is intended to clean up the district boundaries based upon the accurate survey conducted by city staff, so they coincide with the survey and the parcel boundaries. Back on January 23rd of this year, the Planning Commission held a public hearing to consider this matter. At the hearing, no one spoke in favor of the petition. Two individuals spoke in opposition to the petition. Upon closing the hearing, the Hickory Regional Planning Commission adopted a statement concerning the rezoning's consistency with Hickory by Choice 2030 and unanimously voted to forward a recommendation of consistency and of approval for this rezoning to correct not necessarily a mapping area, but to make it in compliance and conformity with the actual official survey. That vote was unanimous to approve this action. Staff concurs with the findings and the recommendation of the Planning Commission, and would be happy to address any questions the council may have at the meeting this evening. Yes.
So it's already designed in neighborhood commercial?
Yes.
It's just a sliver.
It's just those slivers that, I mean, we were pretty close when we rezoned it to, when we zoned it for that use, for the park in cooperation with council and Parks and Rec Commission and the Parks and Rec Department. We were slightly off, but they did the survey and we're just trying to tidy that up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I declare the public hearing to be open and ask if there's anyone who'd like to speak against Mr. Cole.
Where's the plan?
Steve Irish, 14th Avenue Northwest. Mr. Mayor, Council, Mr. Berry. About 5 years ago, we had the sort of a silver storm of the Charlotte, Kannapolis, Concord water taking and the FERC relicensing and stormwater runoff ordinances here in Hickory. A little group called Lake Hickory Water Watch was formed. And we got interested in this piece of land. It's too bad we didn't start earlier with Duke because I think this could have been developed with some Duke money. About 3 years ago, you hired a designer, and my wife and I went to several of the charrettes, and we were told that 10 acres was going to be sold to commercial. And when people in the charrette protested and said, no, that's the only level land, that's the only place to have any kind of playing fields at a level, that's the only place to have any kind of parking, that should stay part of the park. The designer said, that's not one of your options. You can't choose that. Now, there's never been any public review as to whether that 10 acres there should be the entrance to the park or not. I think that 10 acres should be the entrance to the park. We have a wastewater plant here, a sewer plant. There's not going to be restaurants there. There's going to be a liability associated with that wastewater plant, whether it's a park or whether it's commercial. Less so with a park. And if the entrance to the park is up here, rather than down here as is planned, right across from the wastewater plant, then it will be a better park. Now, all of this land is just wasteland and rough and hilly land except for that flat area, which could be playing fields, which could be parking area, which could be a nice entrance on 127, a major entrance to the city. Now, there's a little, Hickory is a city with a lake instead of on the lake because only the wealthy people get access to the lake. So we have a little bit of access over on the other end of town, but not much. Here there's a little access. This is all wetland here. There's really no deep water access. If you come in here with a boat, I can tell you, you go aground about there. Bottom out, right about there. But still, it's some lake access, and it's close to the lake as you come into the city. I think 100 years from now, people will say, why did you dispose of that piece of land? It's a gateway to the city. So, with your forbearance, I think whether you change this little bit of zoning or not is not the issue. There's been no public discussion as to whether that piece of land is more appropriate and valuable as public land, as an entranceway to the park, as flat land that's easily developed. I dare say that what you get for that land, you'll spend more than that developing parking down here in these ravines and gullies. By the way, there's a beautiful little waterfall right there. I'm not downplaying this land. But I would like to request we have this opportunity in a public forum, which has never happened before, for you to review your decision to make that commercial property. When Dixie left, and thank God for Hobby Lobby, what would that mall look like without Hobby Lobby? Harris Teeter left, and we got Gold's Gym. Well, I guess that's a good and highest and best use of that piece of land. Do you really think Lowe's is going to stay in both sites? I think Bell Hall is going to be missing a major tenant. 20 years from now, if we have a strip mall there that's half abandoned, it won't be any value to the citizens. I think if we made that an entranceway to the city off of 127, an entranceway to the park, that would be a higher and better use. And I appreciate your forbearance. I understand that's not exactly what you're discussing here tonight, but I think you really should reconsider the disposal of that particular piece of land. Maybe you use some ground leases like we use at the airport. People build a hangar, and 20 years later, the land and the building revert to the city. At least for posterity, you would keep this valuable piece of land as a part of the public domain. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this proposal? With that, I declare the public hearing closed and ask for motion or discussion. It will be approved.
Second.
We've got approval by Mr. Meisner and a second by Mr. Blair. I guess I would like to ask staff, what kind of time frame are we looking at on any any decision here. And could we have a combination, inspiring space there and some commercial development?
Yeah, the position the city has taken there is we've all over the years, we've entertained a couple of different proposals from developers, neither of which got any traction, but I would say that, yeah, it's completely up to this body to determine what kind of combination of mixed uses you think would be appropriate back into the park and that general location in the city.
Well, and that's why we have, it's a planned unit development, so we have that control to do all that. And if you remember, the two developers were looking, I mean, this was high-end stuff that they were going to put there. And obviously, the economy is not ready for it now, but I mean, to put a park on $50,000 acre property, I don't think taking all that property to make part of the park, I don't think is frugal taxpayer. And we also made that sale so we could help build the park. Fund the park.
Well, that's why I talked about, I'm thinking kind of a joint inspiring space and commercial development. That we find a way that maybe we could have some access to the park off of this. I will tell you, it's still a wonderful park. You go down there and you walk both sides of the stream and you ford the waterfall, and it is a wonderful passive park. And I think what Mr. Ivester is saying is combine the passive park with some activity. But right now, we're not making that decision. We've got plenty of time to make that decision.
We'll just make a decision, clean up the
Design.
lines. And we can make that decision down the road.
And I understand we're making that decision, but Mr. Ivester has some pretty valid plans. You're not making land anymore, and you're certainly not making a parcel of land like that one. And we're very fortunate to have that, and I guess I have always wondered why we would want commercial backing up to something that pristine. You know, given commercial development out 127, you know, we have a lot of people going in and out. And so I think we need to sit tight and we maybe need to revisit that whole discussion about what we do with it. I understand that was maybe supposed to pay for it, but given the nature of that parcel of land, I do believe there are partnerships in Hickory that would better serve a natural passive use of that space rather than selling off a parcel of it to pay for it.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That's unanimous.
And the next item before council tonight is city-initiated rezoning petition 13-07. The city requests property located at the southeast corner of 29th Avenue Drive Northeast and 16th Street Northeast to be rezoned from neighborhood commercial NC to medium density residential R3. Hickory by Choice 2030 classifies the vicinity as neighborhood mixed use. The rezoning of these properties to medium density residential R3 is consistent with the neighborhood mixed use future land use classification. And again, this was a mapping error made back in 2011, 2 years ago, that we're trying to correct this evening. You can see the future land use of the area, the property outlined in red. You can see the property here outlined with the aerial ortho. And this is the property here. You can see the neighborhood commercial, PD, and various residential districts, as well as industrial near the O and I. Again, the property had been zoned prior to 2011 as residential. The property is currently vacant. Just trying to request this mapping error be rectified. Back on January 23rd, the Planning Commission met and unanimously voted for a recommendation for the mapping correction and the rezoning to the Hickory City Council, and staff concurs with the Planning Commission's decision. So I'm happy to address any questions you may have at this time.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll declare the public hearing open and ask if there's anyone who would like to speak against this proposal. Is there anyone who would like to speak for this proposal? I declare the public hearing closed and ask for motion or discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Patton, second by Mr. Seaver. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That's unanimous.
Okay, the last rezoning petition I have before you this evening. Zoning petition 1308. You can see the property in question here. Here's Springs Road, northeast. Venture Property 7 LLC requests the rezoning of 1.675 acres of property located at 2633 Springs Road northeast. The area of the rezoning is a portion of a larger tract of property, which you can see here in the 2010 aerial, outlined again in red. This is Springs Road northeast, heading northward. You can see the wooded lot. It's all one large property. Residential back here. You can right here see Shell's Barbecue. You can see the medical offices, optometry office here. This is the recently renovated Burger King, the commercial mixed-use industrial development across the street. This is the Galaxy Shopping Center. But again, the area for the rezoning is the larger tract of property. This property will be subdivided in the future. We've already received the subdivision plat. The request is to rezone the rear of the property from medium density residential R2 to commercial corridor CC2. The entire frontage of the property is currently CC2, as you can tell in the pink color. And there's the R2 residential behind it, again, Springs Road. The rezoning of the property to CC2 is consistent with the commercial corridor, and the particular rezoning, again, is requested to provide an additional area for a proposed new retail building that will be located there in the near future. Back in January, the Planning Commission held a hearing to consider the matter. At the hearing, 2 individuals spoke in favor of the petition, while no one spoke in opposition to the petition. Planning Commission unanimously voted to forward a recommendation of approval to Hickory City Council, and staff concurs with the findings and the recommendation to rezone this property this evening. I'd be happy to address any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Frazier. I'll declare the public hearing open and ask if there's anyone who would like to speak against this proposal. Is there anyone who would like to speak for this proposal? This is Mr. Shay Davis, Venture Properties, Wilkesboro, North Carolina.
Mr. Mayor, council members, I'm basically here just answering questions you might have about the project. If you don't have any, I won't take up any more of your time because I'm very busy now. But if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them, or I'll do my best.
Does anyone have any questions?
What's the future for this piece of property?
We have a commercial property going there. It's called a DGP, Dollar General Plus. It's a larger Dollar General prototype. They're currently located just down the street, but they do not have the size they need to maintain the product or adhere to the sales. So we'll be providing a little larger store with more product, a few more groceries, a little more upscale than we know.
They currently own the facility they're at now.
They lease it.
You know what's going to become of it?
I do not even own that property.
I have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Davis, for making yourself available by coming down here.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak for this proposal? I declare the public hearing closed and ask for motion or discussion.
Move approval.
Second.
We got a motion by Mr. Lael, and Mr. Kyle here, I think it was Mr. Guest, and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any, all opposed, no. That's unanimous.
First departmental report this evening will ask consistency with Andrea Surratt from the podium and present a request for a change to the city's vacant building grant program.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. Good evening, Mayor and members of council, Mr. Berry and Mr. Crone. I'm here tonight to present to you some opportunities to change the guidelines that you've adopted over the last few years for the vacant building grant. And try to look at this